True Brandywine is a young rodeo cowboy with raw talent and a quiet determination. The film opens with him participating in a high-stakes bronc riding event in Elko, Nevada. He rides a horse named Raw Meat and earns cheers from the crowd for his impressive performance. Despite the victory, something seems off. True stumbles away from the arena, clearly disoriented. He vomits, possibly from a head injury. A clown checks on him, but he brushes it off. He continues moving forward as rodeo life waits for no one. True lives a transient and rugged lifestyle, scraping together enough money to get by. He pays for a darkened motel room just to get some rest. The sense of loneliness and disconnection is constant. He encounters another cowboy who tells him not to let life drag him down. There is camaraderie but also desperation. He talks about getting his saddle and chaps back one day when he has the cash. This is the kind of dream they all seem to carry. True struggles with basic things like accessing a clean shower or getting cash. He listens to a worn-out tape recording of the poem Stopping by Woods on a snowy evening. The recitation adds a poetic and haunting tone to his journey. Later, he is alone again, driving through desolate roads. His truck breaks down. He shouts in frustration and fights against weak cell service. At one point, he is surrounded by howling wolves. The wild and the world feel like they are closing in. Eventually, he returns home to his family ranch. His mother is warm and happy to see him. His younger brother Caleb is full of sarcasm and jokes but clearly missed him. They reconnect with humor and teasing. Their father George is harder to read. He worries about True's future. He wants him to think about joining the Marines and learning a trade. George clearly does not see rodeo as a sustainable life path. True insists he still has a chance at the finals this season. At a truck stop, True accidentally burns his arm while trying to fix his vehicle. A woman named Allie, who turns out to be a nurse, offers help after some awkward back and forth. She bandages his arm with care and patience. This unexpected connection leads to a date with her and her friends. During their time together, True opens up a little more. He tells her about riding broncs and his love of drawing. She encourages him to sketch her and is amazed at his talent. They begin to develop a quiet mutual affection. Back at home, True continues to wrestle with uncertainty. Caleb confesses he is worried about being weak and not living up to their father's example. The pressure of masculinity and legacy hangs heavy over the family. Their father tells stories about his own rodeo days and almost great rides that stayed with him forever. It is clear that George carries regrets of his own. True spends more time with Allie. He shows her his horse named Dude and introduces her to his family. They share dinner and casual jokes. It feels like a slice of normal life. There is warmth and humor but also tension. George asks about the alternator on True's truck. He warns that he is going to run out of road if he does not fix it. True brushes it off, but it is a warning that carries more weight than it seems. In quiet moments, the film shows the scars of this life. True experiences what seem to be dizzy spells or headaches. He grits his teeth and pushes through. The rodeo is not just dangerous physically. It takes a toll mentally and emotionally. The poem recited earlier echoes again. Whose woods these are, I think I know. The snow. The quiet. The long way to go before sleep. True's bond with Allie grows. She defends him during a tense dinner with his family. He begins to imagine something beyond the rodeo. Still, his sense of responsibility and identity tied to bronc riding remains. When Caleb asks him if he could kill someone, possibly referencing military service, it is a jarring moment. Caleb seems worried that he will not measure up in a world defined by toughness and sacrifice. Despite all the challenges, there are scenes of laughter and beauty. The brothers laugh while driving a tractor. The family sits down for a meal together. There is pain and pressure, but there is also love. By the end of the film, True is still caught between roads. He is chasing rodeo dreams, feeling the pull of home and maybe sensing the possibility of something else with Allie. The choice is not yet made, but the path is narrowing. The world is wild, unforgiving, but also filled with small moments of hope. Whether he stays in the arena or leaves it behind, the ride goes on. True Brandywine is a gifted but troubled young rodeo rider from rural America. When the story begins, True is struggling with both his physical health and sense of purpose. His old truck has been broken for months and his life feels similarly stalled. His relationship with Allie, a nurse who sees both his pain and potential, is deepening, but True is plagued by fears that he will ultimately let her down. He admits to not having health insurance, a detail that blends comedy and tragedy and points to his deeper instability. Allie's background is rooted in purpose and care. She became a nurse after caring for her dying grandmother, an experience that shaped her identity. In contrast, True's identity is more elusive and fragile. Though immensely talented as an artist, he refuses to sell his work. Though once a champion rider, he has stopped competing. He struggles to articulate a future beyond fleeting thrills and failed plans. Conversations with George Ali's father and his own brother Caleb highlight his difficulty in embracing any stable vision of adulthood. True's physical and emotional health deteriorate throughout the film. He uses pills to manage pain and anxiety, sometimes brushing off concern with humor or defensiveness. In an intimate and emotional scene, he tells Ali that nothing makes him feel as alive as being on the back of a bucking horse. But this need for adrenaline and meaning through rodeo becomes increasingly dangerous. At a rodeo event, True insists on riding again despite warnings. During his ride, he's thrown from the horse and suffers a head injury. Confused and disoriented, he mistakes Nevada for Oklahoma and collapses shortly after. Ali finds him and calls for medical help. Later in the hospital, the damage is made clear he is no longer allowed to ride. The consequences of his choices are real and lasting. Despite promises to change, True continues to struggle. He and Ali argue when she encourages him to go to art school or accept help from others. True resists, viewing charity as pity and preferring to carry his burdens alone. Their relationship strains further as she tries to hold him accountable. He ultimately pushes her away, revealing the depth of his isolation and confusion. Caleb, True's brother, decides to enlist in the Marines, hoping to find structure and meaning through service. Their relationship, like many others in True's life, is marked by both closeness and distance. Caleb leaves and True remains behind, still drifting. Eventually, True leaves town with his horse Dude, searching for work and direction. He ends up at a remote ranch run by an old cowboy named Cliff. Though initially turned away, True is offered a meal and shelter after showing humility and a willingness to work. He helps around the ranch and starts to find peace in its simplicity and solitude. Cliff becomes a mentor, sharing wisdom about life, love, and loss. He reflects on how the world breaks and how some people choose to fix it while others walk away. One day, while tending to the pasture, True and Dude are caught in a snowstorm. True suffers a severe collapse, possibly due to his head trauma or withdrawal from pain medication. In the wilderness, he hallucinates, hearing voices and remembering poetry lines from Robert Frost's Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening echo through the cold, symbolizing his struggle between rest and responsibility. He nearly dies but is eventually found and rescued. Back in town, life moves on. True now works a humble job at a boot store. He's no longer a rider, no longer a local celebrity, but he is alive and sober. Ali visits him and their interaction is cautious but full of unspoken history. There's no clear reconciliation, only the weight of all they've been through. She once again tries to help, but True's quiet resignation and her firm boundaries suggest they may never fully reconnect. In a final act of quiet strength, True helps repair a broken fence with his father, George. When George pushes him about his future, True explodes with frustration, tired of being asked for a plan he cannot give. After the outburst, he still helps fix the wire. The moment captures his contradictions, anger and responsibility, despair and perseverance. The film ends on a quiet, open-ended note. True is still broken in some ways but also healing. His fire is not gone, but it has been tempered. He remains on the path with miles to go before I sleep, resonating as both a personal promise and a quiet surrender to the unknown road ahead. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.